I would say there's three big sections that are crucial in a paper. First would be the abstract. The abstract typically is an introductory paragraph that tells students, or rather that gives the readers a sense of the objectives of the experiment, how those objectives were accomplished, and most importantly what the results are. And what I find a lot of times students do a good job talking about the objectives. They do a great job in mentioning the methods or the instrumental parameters or those aspects that were used, but they don't do a great job in actually stating the results. And as a scientist, you often read the abstract to determine whether or not you want to keep going with an article. So focusing in on the abstract can be important. The second area I would say is experimental. That's where you sort of recap what the scientists did in the lab and how they accomplished that. Again, giving just enough details to where a scientist could repeat the work. Not necessarily someone without a science background or someone off the street, but someone that had a science background could reproduce the work based on the experimental. In this section, students often put too many words. They often give too many details, and that's where the audience, or keeping your audience in mind, I think is really important. And the most important, I would say, is the discussion section, where now students and scientists alike are asked to interpret that data. So you've collected all this stuff in the lab, what does it mean? And I think it's really important for students to relate their interpretations, to relate their conclusions to what the data is saying. Oftentimes, students and sometimes scientists as well will go off tangent and try to stretch or extrapolate upon something that isn't really there. And I think it's important to stick to the facts. Stick to the data you've collected. What is the data telling you in a scientific manner, and what conclusions can you draw specifically from that?